Hey Blockheads, this is DJ AK the Amanda Knight, and I'm here to let you know that my so-called whatever podcast and No More Games Radio have joined forces. Listen to No More Games Radio on Sundays at 2 p.m. for your favorite episodes of my so-called whatever podcast, and maybe a live episode? Who knows? Tune in to my so-called whatever podcast for upcoming No More Games radio features and exclusive stories from our staff and DJs. And as always, follow us on social media at No More Games Radio and at my so-called whatever. Hang tough!
Friends forever, that's what we are. Through the thick and the thin, we're friendship stars. We're banger main buddies from the days of old. We laugh, cry, and hug, friendship solid gold. My so-called whatever started a year ago. We share our stories and your stories were told. 80s, 90s memories that give us glee. And on the block party shows and KOTB. Now our friendship circle has grown by far. Hashtag friends forever, that's what we all are. Boom! And if you don't know, now you know. My so-called whatever for life. Hashtag MSCW. Hashtag friends forever. Yeah. Yeah.
So we're back.
We're
Guess
Hey
who's
guys,
back?
we're back again. We're back.
Yeah. So it's always one thing or another, right? Like it's always
Yep.
something. And
we were like all gung ho, like, hey guys,
yeah. We had
we're
like a
back. We're gonna
schedule.
record
We
every
got
week.
everything going. We got stories loaded. It was like woo. And then I got so sick. So it would have been 2 weeks ago this past Wednesday. I went prom dress shopping with Bryn and her friend and her friend's stepmom. And Bryn got an amazing dress. Gorgeous.
I love it.
Gorgeous.
I've seen the preview.
And I started to feel a little run down, but we had been doing a lot of walking. So I was thinking, and Brody had COVID the week prior, but like I didn't have COVID symptoms, like, And so as the day progressed, I started to get more and more like achy, like body achy. And then like I started to cough. And I thought it was because I got the smoothie and I thought like I got like a seed in the back of my throat. And we went to because it's like tournament time here, basketball tournament time. We ended up swinging into Augusta and going to some of the basketball games because it would be Bryn's friend's stepmom's son, or yeah, her stepbrothers, played in the game. So it was the Brewer game, which I'm going to tell you, Brooke. You guys, I think we've talked a little bit about this on the podcast. We live in Bangor, and there is a town across the river that's called Brewer, that we also refer to as Sewer. They are the Brewer Witches. They are the Brewer Witches. I don't know I think Salem's like the only supposedly, and this might be like a tall tale, but supposedly is the only other place that has a mascot of a witch. Not really sure why they're the witches, but they're the witches. And because we went to Bangor, there's always been like Bangor Brewer.
Right. Bangor versus Brewer.
Right. And so as I'm sitting there, I looked at Bryn and I'm like, I hope I'm not on camera sitting in the Brewer side. like I had my head down. Like, and it's like we are not in high school anymore, but it just brought those things back. But anyway, got in the car, started getting home, and I knew I knew it. I just knew I was getting sick. And as soon as I got home, I had a fever and it progressed. And I don't know.
Yeah, you were in bed forever.
I was really surprised that I didn't go to the emergency room, to be honest with you. But what are they going to do? Like, our emergency rooms are jam-packed.
Right.
that's what I kept thinking. I'm like, if I could just make it just this day, and then I'd say the next day, if I could just make it this much further. But long story short, that is why we haven't been on the past few weeks. Um, but we're back and feeling great. And we have a very special guest for you today.
Yes, we do. Should we intro?
We should. Let's do it.
Okay. This is Brooke.
This is Nikki.
And this is Becky.
Yay!
Yay!
We said we were going to have her on, and we did it.
We did it. Oh my gosh. It's been a long time coming. And this is my so-called whatever, by the way.
And it's
A block party.
It is
Welcome to the block
party.
party.
Oh, but
Slow it
Becky
down.
is wearing her NSYNC shirt, but that's okay.
But that's okay because
friendly here.
It's going to kind of, it might be a little bit of a hybrid.
It might be a hybrid. Yeah, it actually is probably going to be a hybrid. So,
because we have to talk about we have
right.
to talk about some things. We have to talk about Chris Kirkpatrick.
We do. We absolutely do. So I'm going to start with saying how I first met Becky. And it's been a few years now. This was before COVID,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, totally.
Yes. And Becky's a Joe girl, a fellow Joe girl. And I was introduced to her. Well, actually, I think I was introduced to her on her own, but I ended up getting introduced to her and talking to her more through a couple other friends. And she's just the kindest, sweetest person. And we shared her story last episode.
Right.
Right? It was last episode? Yeah.
It was last episode.
Yes. So now we're going to have her on. We're going to talk about her experiences, especially the latest one with her daughter. And yeah.
Yeah, like a follow-up to her story from last week.
Right.
Oh, because there's quite the follow-up.
And we are here for it. We are here for it.
Should we get into that? I mean, should we?
Let's do it.
Let's go into that.
Story. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think the thing when you read the story, it left off, we hadn't showed yet.
Right.
It was just like you were excited, whatever. So yes, it was the Oklahoma City show from the last mixtape tour, and we had gotten her the tickets as a Christmas present, so she knew it was coming. And I swear, like every few weeks up from January or December to May, she's like, is it time yet? Is it time yet? Is it time yet? Because she was 7 at the time that we went, and 7-year-olds are like that, are we there yet? Are we there yet? And so then the day came and we did a road trip, girls' road trip. We left Dad at home. It's like, you got the fridge full of food, you're good to go, like, see you later. And we drove up to Oklahoma City. We stayed with some friends, and we did the whole thing, like hair. She got her hair done. I got my hair done.
Fun.
The makeup artist even asked if they could put like the littlest bit of like lip gloss and stuff on her. I was like, yeah, I can do that. And then right before we went to the show, I wanted to I know you can't take things into the meet and greets for the individuals, like they won't let you, but several of my friends are like, if you can sneak it in, you can get it in, but you got to be sneaky. And so I had been on a Zoom during COVID with Donnie, and I told him I was bringing him New Mexico green chili. So I had a Tupperware that was probably like the tiniest Tupperware you've ever seen. And I shoved a bunch of green chili in it, and then put it in a cooler full of like ice packs and stuff. Obviously, I couldn't get the cooler in. So we put the Tupperware, my daughter put it in her pocket, and then I got like a Joe gift card, and she found out it was Jordan's birthday, and she was like, we got to take him something, it's his birthday. And I said, well, I heard he likes M&Ms, so we're trying to find like a small bag of M&Ms. We really couldn't, and I wanted like a different flavored kind, not just the regular M&Ms. And so she found this bag, but it was like the shareable party size bag of like the brownie M&Ms.
Oh, those are Brent's favorite.
Those are delicious.
we have to take him these. And I'm like, Chloe, how are we gonna get these in there? She's like, well, your shirt's kind of big. You could. So I shoved him down my pants with my shirt over the top. I was like, this is ridiculous. And so we got in, and I felt so stupid. We got to the individual, and I was prepared to leave her with friends. And we got to the front of the line. It was going to be our turn. And I said, and I told the lady, I can't think of her name, but everybody knows her name. She's the one with the bright red hair.
Oh, I love
And I
her.
said,
She's awesome.
I said, don't worry, she's gonna wait here out here with my friends. And she's like, oh no, no, no. The guys already said she could come in.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, okay. Sure. I was like, Chloe, do you want to come with me? She's like, yeah. So she grabbed my hand and we walked in, and Danny and Donnie are the first ones to greet you. And they were so nice, and they were like, what's your name? Like, how old are you? Like, talking to her more than they were talking to me. They were all about her. And then I said to Donnie, I said, I told you on a Zoom during COVID that I was going to bring you green chili. And I pulled out the container and I was like, this is the real deal. This is New Mexico green chili. Now, whether he actually put it on a burger or ate it or whatever, I will never know. But I told him I was going to do it, and I did it. So he has green
You are a
chili.
woman of your word.
Yes, I definitely am. um, and then we got to, I forget who was after Donnie and Danny. I think it was Jordan next. And here I am with these big old M&Ms, and I was like, I'm really sorry. This is gonna sound really bizarre. I said, but she knows it. It's your birthday, and she insisted that we bring you something. She was like, I said, she's a huge Jordan girl, and she insisted that we bring you something. And so I pulled the package of M&Ms out of my pants, and I was like, I'm really sorry. This is the only kind they had, like the only size they had. And he was like, it's okay. And he took the bag and he was like, these look good. He's like, I'm gonna have some of these after the show. And then he looked at her and he goes, I may not even wait till after the show. I may have to have some before. And she was just like stars in her eyes. She was so, and I found out later that he was so sick that show and the show before. So he was like so sick. But you couldn't tell him performing that he was so sick. But he was so nice. They were all so wonderful with her, like so gracious and so kind to her. Like I said, I swear they paid more attention to her than they did me, but I was totally fine with it. And then we moved on to Joe, and I gave him his gift card. I said to bring you something a little stronger than a coffee gift card, but as you can see, I struggled with just sneaking all of this in. Sorry, this is as good as you're gonna get. And he was like, no, thank you. And he posed for the picture. And then we moved on to John. And John and I had a conversation because I said he apparently is looking for a vintage, like 1950s pickup. And I asked him, did you find your pickup yet? And he's like, no, not yet. I'm still looking. I said, well, if you ever get it and you need it fixed up, I said, I know a guy, because that's my dad's hobby is restoring antique cars. He has all these like 1920s, 1940s cars that he fixes up and rebuilds from the ground up. So I told him, if you need it fixed up, I know a guy. And then they kind of but she loved it. She was so like all of it, Salt and Pepper, all of the performers. She absolutely loved it. And she did get a little tired because that was the latest she's ever stayed up. And she took like a power nap. But she took a power nap in the middle of it was a Jordan. So I'm pretty sure it was I Been Loving You Forever. I was like, of all the times for you to take a power nap, it's gonna be during that song.
Oh my
But
goodness.
she was like bouncing off the walls for like hours after. It was so hard to get her to settle down and go to bed that night at the hotel. Like everybody else wants to go to sleep. You gotta tone it down. And she's
Oh,
like,
she
you
was so
can't go to
excited
any.
though. She was flying that high.
Yes. That
Yes,
new kid's
she
high.
was like, you can't go to any more without me. You can't. I have to go every time. I was like, oh, I don't know about that. That's a little expensive, there, friend.
Yes. Oh
Oh,
my
how
gosh.
precious.
So precious.
And I bet they were all so good with her. Like I mean,
They were so amazing. Like I have nothing but wonderful things to say about how they were with her and how wonderful they were, and just as genuine as you could imagine.
that's so awesome. And I mean, if you think about it, first
Smiling
of all, they're
and talking
professional
to her.
and they're good with
Yes.
that, but they're all dads or uncle.
Right. Right.
Um,
Well, for the most
so
part.
I just think that's really precious. That's so
It
precious.
was
And
it meant a lot to me for her to be that be her first concert and to get to go and have that special of a time. I had to explain to her, I was like, so this is not the way it happens every time. Like I got lucky getting that individual. Like this is not how it always goes. And you don't always have this good of seats. Because
Mhm.
we weren't front row and we weren't bar stool, but we were pretty much second row on the corner of the stage.
Oh
So she
wow.
got to see it all.
she had great seats. Nothing like starting on top.
That's right.
I
Right?
mean,
I know.
Now it's like,
where do you go from there?
right.
I
But I
know.
will say that like Bryn, her first concert was front row. Like well, no, her first New Kids concert was at Fenway, but we were close. The second one was front row, and she had meet and greets. So I thought the third one, because we were like far away, she had just as much fun. Never said a word about like our seats or anything. Like so, it's a vibe.
She did ask me. She pointed to the bar stools and she's like, "How do you sit up there?" And I was like, "No,
Money.
no,
It's just money. It's just money, baby girl. That's
right?
it.
It's a lot of money. My teacher salary doesn't pay for two of those. I'm sorry."
No,
No, no, I get that. Totally. I don't
yeah.
I could not do two of those. I
Mm-mm.
mean,
Mm-mm.
you know, we do what we can to get the one.
We do what we can.
We
We get her done.
do, but
Speaking of
we don't have to
which,
get her done for us and a daughter too.
right,
So,
that's right. Today, though, we should mention was cruise day.
oh right.
Right. So should we tell them what our plan is?
Probably.
Okay. So here's Brooke and I's plan. As you know, we already said that I probably wasn't going to be able to go because Bryn is going to be a senior and I don't want to miss any
Right.
like senior games or anything like that for fall. However, Brooke and I may go if it doesn't fall on the senior game, but we won't know until October
Right.
or like
so it'll be a last minute
September.
thing
Yes.
if available.
Right.
And
if there's availability.
And if stars align and it happens, it happens.
That's right. I feel like
If
it's
it
going
doesn't,
to, but
I mean, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, then it's the next year. The
Right.
problem is Sadie has soccer tournaments.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And those are always a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And it happens to fall right at that time. But anyway,
we'll figure it out.
If it works out, it works out. And if it doesn't,
doesn't,
well, then there's the next one.
There's next year. We will like more than likely be on that one.
We will try our hardest.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And so far, so good for BlockCon. However, Bryn's prom might be falling on BlockCon. So
yeah,
we just need to wait for that date. And they still haven't given it to us yet. So I don't dare buy plane tickets His
Yeah, I
plane
don't
tickets
blame
are
you.
outrageous because it's Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Plane
Sorry, I
tickets are
didn't mean,
outrageous anyway. Just
yeah, I
putting
didn't
that
mean
out
to
there.
like interrupt Becky's episode. I just,
You didn't.
you know, cruise day, everybody was really excited, and I was kind of like, wah, wah,
Right.
wah.
Right.
My little group. I say group with quotes, even though nobody can see me. I'm doing air quotes. My little group, a bunch of them are going. I'm not, simply because one, cost, two, I I'm kind of get anxiety in big crowds and stuff. And I've heard stories and I'm just like, that's okay. Plus I get motion sickness really bad. And I'm just like, I don't even want to mess with that. Like, y'all
I will
have
tell you,
fun
the
all day.
patch is a game changer.
I'm also going to not help this situation. And I'm going to tell you that there are crowds, but you really have to kind of put yourself in the crowd. You don't
Right.
have to be in the crowd.
Right. We never
This
were.
last cruise, we were never in a crowd.
No.
And we had a blast.
We had our own space. We had our own
yeah,
like
and we
just-
still got like really good like views
Mhm.
for most of the night. We were
Mhm.
behind the stage, but hey, it was fun. So I'm just going to say that
Just in case,
because
it
I
might
don't like
change,
crowds either.
Right. No.
Well,
I get irritated. I get like really stressed out and irritated.
The only crowds were like at the buffet.
Right.
So I avoided the buffet.
Right. But like that's not even a big deal because like it wasn't even that bad. It's just a line.
Hmm.
Really.
I also
Right.
can't justify spending that amount of money. Like, I'm not knocking anybody who does it year after
Yeah.
year after year. You do
Absolutely,
you
right.
do you like whatever. Like, I get some people need that to make them to like
That fills their cup.
that fills their heart. So I'm not knocking that in any way. But for me and my family, I can't justify spending that amount of money on something just I do.
Hmm.
It is a
If
lot of
if we're
money.
gonna spend that much amount of money, then we want to do something as a family.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is a lot of money for sure. And that's something that I have struggled with. I mean, the last cruise Kevin put us on. So
Yeah, that's true.
but I have struggled with as well because, you know, we have a budget, we have a family budget, we have so much for travel, and it's hard for me to take a big chunk of that for just me when my family likes to travel as well. So I totally get that 100%.
Well, and most of the blockheads that I run with have older children.
Yeah.
And so, and Chloe's only 8.
Hmm.
So leaving an 8-year-old behind is a lot harder.
It's a lot different.
It is.
Your teenager who, is like, so mom's gone for a few days. We get to eat pizza every day with dad or whatever.
Yeah. Becky, I am right there with you.
Hmm.
Sadie was 10 this cruise. She was 6 the first cruise that I went on, the one that in 2018. And that was really, really difficult.
Hmm.
So I 100%, 150% get you.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
I
it was
am-
hard with Brody being 11 and Bryn being 13, that first one.
Yeah.
That was like, I mean, I couldn't imagine, having them younger. But now that they're older, it does make things a lot easier.
But I am more than willing to like jump on Ticketmaster or whatever Rose Tours and help somebody secure a spot or cross all my fingers and toes at a certain time of day, making sure you get the right floor and right cabin and whatever. So I'm all for the ones that want to go. Like, go you. I want to hear all about it when you get back.
Hmm.
Totally.
Yep.
Send the stories to us when you get back.
That's right.
Yes.
mycirclewhatever@gmail.com.
That's right. Yeah.
And a bunch of our friends got on today.
They did.
Decade
Congratulations.
representing.
So did the majority of the ones that I know. They got on today.
Nice. That's awesome. So I feel like we need to talk about a little somebody named Chris Kirkpatrick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We can talk
I
about
mean-
Chris.
I mean, Becky has played a huge role.
Yes.
She, along with Steph, has been our cheerleaders.
I mean, big time.
They have been in our corner. They have been like just true gems. And they are the reason why we had Chris on.
They 100%.
And
That was
I'm
them.
not giving
That
up
was
hope.
Becky.
I'm not giving up hope on Lance. I'm still trying. I'm not giving up hope.
Oh, I'm not giving up hope either.
No, Lance, we're gonna seal that deal
Yes.
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 somehow, some way.
Somehow,
I keep
some way.
bugging her every so often. I'm like, come on, just
It's in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of him being like, oh yeah, that's right. I gotta go on that My So-Called Whatever podcast thing.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
I
And
did say
he's
I was gonna
gonna
do
have this
that.
day free.
I gotta go with that
Yeah.
girl that had that screen name, Lance Bassass.
Is that what your screen name
Oh,
was?
yeah.
I
I
yeah.
had two. I had me for Lance B. That was the one I used the most. And then I had Lance Bassass. Yep.
Because I don't know if you realize this, Nikki, because you're a Joe girl,
Hmm.
right?
Yes,
And you're a Lance girl.
that's right.
I too am a Joe girl and a Lance girl.
And that's a unique combination.
That is a
I
unique
have-
combination.
I don't know. I did know you were a Lance girl and I did know you were a Joe girl. So when I found that out, I was like, okay, that's because it doesn't happen often.
No,
No.
that's unique. I feel
Right.
like
No.
me being a Jordan girl and a JC girl, that like if someone was like, "Oh, she's a Jordan girl," and then said, "Oh, she's a JC girl," they'd be like, "Yeah, that makes sense."
I will
Yeah.
tell you, I did gravitate a little bit towards JC at first. And then I was like, no, I like that Lance guy. Yeah. That one.
JC was how I figured it out, how I found out about NSYNC. And I was, that's the guy from Mickey Mouse Club. Like, what the heck?
Mm-hmm.
But aside from that, and then Justin, I was kind of enthralled with his dance moves, but I was like, no, Lance, no, yeah, that's my guy.
Can you guys
I
hear
do
my
love
cat?
Lance. No,
Okay.
not at
No.
all.
He's like, wow, like really loud.
Nope, can't hear him.
Can't
Wouldn't
hear
even
him.
know he was there.
Oh,
So what exactly do you want me to say about Chris? Like how that all went down or what?
Let's talk.
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
talk about how it
Yeah,
all
let's hear
happened.
it. Yeah.
What it?
Okay.
Let the people
so,
know.
Well, he's done these two events here in Texas, or he's done it a few. He's been to Texas a few times now, and I guess he has friends here. But he did this event, and it was at Texas Live, which is by the baseball. I'm sorry, I'm terrible with sports, but the team that's in Dallas for baseball or in
The Mavericks?
the Dallas. No, that's basketball. I do
That's
know
That's
that.
basketball.
basketball. Houston Astros.
There is a baseball team. I forget what it's called.
Dallas.
Who's the Padres?
That's
Not it. San Antonio
that's yeah.
Padres.
Yeah.
I don't know. Somebody is at home listening to this, and they're like,
Yes.
"These girls are dumb."
Yes. And
I'm not a Texas native, so you can't hate on me because I'm
No.
the
Even if you
Rangers.
were,
The Rangers.
Yeah, the Rangers. But even if you were a Texas
Okay,
native, Becky,
yes.
no hate.
Right. I can't believe I didn't remember
Exactly.
the Rangers.
Okay, yes. Over by Ranger Stadium, there's this venue called Texas Live, and it has all these different like clubs and restaurants and whatever in it. It's literally across the street from the stadium. And he did like a 80s, 90s cover band night, and he was the host. And so I went, and the first time I went, I wore my New Kids on the Block t-shirt. I wore a shirt that said, "If lost, please return to Joe McIntyre." And he thought it was hilarious. And he said, "Can I please take a picture of you in the shirt?" And I said, "Sure." And then he was like, "Okay, now I have to ask you, can I text it to Joe?" And I was like, "Uh, yeah, sure." So, while I'm standing there, he texts the picture to Joe McIntyre with the caption, "WTF." That was his caption on the picture. And then I took my picture and left him alone. Like, it wasn't like a formal meet and greet. It was just like, "Hey, hi." And I told him, I was like, "My NSYNC shirts are still packed in boxes because we had literally just moved here. And they're still packed in boxes." He's like, "Yeah, my NSYNC shirts are packed in boxes too."
He's so funny.
That along with his digital get down gear.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. um, and so I didn't have the courage to go back up to him again that evening and ask him if Joe replied. Um, so I didn't say anything. And then he was back the next year. And this time I went with some friends, and we got there early. And so we went into this restaurant to eat. And on the other side of he was having like a private party with some of his friends, and he was eating because the event hadn't started yet. And I had my Fu Manskito shirt in my purse.
Yes.
I had my Fu Manskito shirt in my purse and a Sharpie because I was going to ask him to sign it. And my friend and her husband who was with me, her husband was like, "Hey, isn't that guy?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Over there at the bar. Isn't that the guy from NSYNC?" And I looked and I was like, "Oh yeah, it is." He's like, "You should go talk to him." I was like, "No." I got all scared. I was like, "No, I'm not gonna." Like, he's eating. He's with his friends. I'm not gonna. He's like, "I'm gonna do this." He's like, "Watch me." So he got up and went over to the bar and he starts talking to him. And he's like, "My friend over there, she's a big fan of yours. She's a little nervous to come over and talk to you." And he came over, he like brought him over to the table. Oh my gosh.
I'd
I was like,
die.
"Hi." I said, "We actually met last year." And I was the one that wore the shirt about Joe McIntyre, and he sent it to him. And I said I was too afraid. He was like, "You should have come up and asked me. I would have showed you what he texted back." He pulls out his phone and pulls up the text and shows it to me. And I was like, oh, and I forget what it said. It was like, "Ha ha, they're everywhere," or something like that. But it was something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was. And it was like a split second, and then the phone went back in his pocket. And I was like, "Oh my gosh." She was like, "You totally should have come up and talked to me." Like, "Yeah, I'm sorry." And I said, and this time I was cleverly wearing a shirt, and it obviously didn't happen, but it said, and I made it because I was that girl. It said something like hashtag NSYNC KOTB 2021. And he was like, and then on the back it said, "Joe girl since like 88, Lance girl since 98." And he was like, "That's funny." But I'm not saying a word. I'm not saying a single word. I'm keeping my mouth shut. I get in trouble when I talk. I'm not saying a word. And I'm like, "Okay." And then I said, "Oh yeah, by the way, I almost forgot." I said, "There's this podcast. They talk about 80s and 90s and New Kids on the Block, but they also happen to be really big NSYNC fans." And they would love, I said, "They've had Joey Fatone on the podcast, and they would really, really, really love it if you would go on the podcast." He was like, "Sure, I'll go." And I was like, I should have called you. I should have like FaceTimed
So
you.
Becky messaged me and I was like shaking. I'm like, what is happening? What
I
is
remember
happening
this.
right now? I can't remember. We were somewhere. I think we were in Vermont, possibly. I can't remember. I don't remember where we were, but we were somewhere. And I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like, and immediately texted Brooke and screenshotted what Becky sent. I was like, oh my God, this might be happening.
So then I gave him your email address, but I swear to you, this man typed it 4 times wrong into his phone. And I was like, no, it's like this. I was like, no, you put a 5 in there or something. I was like, no, it's my so whatever at gmail.com. Once he finally got it right, he wrote, I think all he wrote was, hi, this is Chris K, or
That's
hi,
what he
this is
wrote.
Chris.
I
Yes,
still have
that's
it.
exactly what he
Hi,
wrote.
this is Chris K. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God.
I get like geeky when I think about it.
So then I think some time passed and you weren't connecting. And
Right.
so I asked a friend and I was like, hey, um, this is what happened. And he said he'd do it, but they haven't been able to connect. Who do I contact? And she gave me the name of somebody, and I Instagram messaged her, and I think I even like screenshotted the something, or like told the story, or I sent something with it to know that, let him know it was legit.
Mhm.
And then within days of me sending that, she reached out to you
That's right. Hmm.
to book it.
Right. But I don't think we did. I think because you did the cameo.
Right.
Oh,
You,
well,
you
maybe that's
instead,
what I attached to her.
yes. I think that, so after that happened, Chris and we went back and forth and then it kind of fizzled, like
As things do.
as things do. And then you guys did that cameo and he said definitely he'd be on. And then it was like right after that he came on.
Yeah.
Like it was like,
it was very
Yeah.
quickly in motion after that.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
you must have attached the cameo to the
Yes,
message.
I think I did,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
the message. And then right after that, you guys had him on. I was like,
And it was
yeah.
amazing. It was amazing.
Oh my God.
He was
It
so
was-
great.
And we like shot the shit before. I wish we would have recorded that. Like, I wish it's just like with Joe. I wish we had started recording right immediately when we got on. But I always feel like I want to give them, I don't want them to feel like they're on the spot, like, and all of our guests when they come on. I don't want people to feel like they're like on the spot.
Like,
know.
boom, they're on.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he is hilarious. If you guys
Really
don't
is.
know, he is hilarious. And he was making us laugh so much during, afterwards. He talked to us for a while afterwards. It was, Becky, it was so amazing.
It was very cool.
I so when it finally aired, I was still working in the north part of Dallas, and so I had that crazy long commute every day. I remember listening to it, and you guys brought up both Stephanie and myself, and you read the story, and he was like, "Oh, yup, I remember her. Yup," and I'm
Yep.
like,
Yep. Yep.
he was like, "I think I know where this is going," but. But the crazy thing was, after the fact, during the mixtape tour at the Dallas show, there was a girl there who I didn't know, but we have mutual friends, and she's really good friends with Chris as well. And the Dallas show, I went straight from work. It was field day at school, and I was kind of sweaty and messy and whatever. And so I took an NSYNC shirt. I thought this will be funny. Like, they get all the new kid shirts and all the variations of people who made their shirts or bought shirts that say different things. And I don't care. Like, I'm coming straight from work, so I put an NSYNC shirt on, and I was standing in line for my 5-star to get into the building with my group, and this girl was like, "Oh my gosh, you're her," and I was like, "What?" And she's like, "You're that girl," and I was like, "What are you?" And she's like, "The girl," and she told me the story and how Chris has talked about me before. She was like, "We were at that concert that you were at. We were hanging out with him. We dressed up as because they had a costume contest." And she was like, "I'm so and so. We're really good friends. Can we take a picture?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So she took a picture with me, and then we both tagged him and was like, "Look who we ran into." Like, he didn't, I think he liked the picture, but he didn't say anything.
But still, that's so cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty crazy to think that we have had the opportunities to meet these people that we never would have thought in a million years that we would have the chance to meet, let alone have a conversation with.
Well, that's
Like,
just it. It's
you
the
know,
conversation for me.
It's the conversation.
Also, you guys, if you haven't listened to that episode with Chris,
Right. We'll
go
link
back.
it. Yeah, we'll link it.
Yes. Step 223.
Oh,
We lost Becky.
I don't know what the heck happened.
That's okay.
Welcome back, Becky. We had some technical difficulties.
Yes,
Yes.
we did.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Thanks.
So I was just saying, and I don't know if it caught or not before, but if you guys want to listen to the episode, we're going to link it on the website.
Mhm.
And we also, for reference, it's step 223, back from in May of 2021.
Wow.
That's insanity. It was almost 2 years ago. What?
Oh my God.
And
So
also,
it's been 2 years since we've had Jeff Timmons on.
yeah, that was February.
Wow.
Also, Becky,
Yes.
if you could send us any pictures, all the photos,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
and we'll put it on our website.
Okay. Absolutely. I will have to.
So
But yes.
we would love that. And I think people like to go to our website and kind of like scroll through and see this.
I know Charlene does.
Charlene definitely does, because Charlene's checking.
always like, "Where's that picture?"
Where is that? I was
appreciate
looking
because
for it.
sometimes I forget. She's like, "Nikki, where's that link? Where's that picture?" So thank you, Charlene. I love you.
You didn't link the socials.
Yeah,
She's
So-
good. She's on top of it. We
she's
love
on top
Charlene.
of it. I love it.
It's funny because Lance is doing his podcast now.
Mm-hmm.
And so he keeps having these different people on. And it was interesting to see reactions after Lance had John on.
Mm-hmm.
And there was lots of people I know in the NSYNC camp that were like, "I didn't know that New Kids were such big fans." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like, no, they've been like the biggest campaigners to get NSYNC back together. It's not even funny. Like, Donnie's just calling the wrong member."
Yeah.
Right.
JC, if you're listening.
Yeah, right. I know.
JC, can you hear me?
Yeah.
And then I like to show them there's a clip of the 2018 mixtape that's floating around on YouTube where it was at the Hollywood Bowl and they pulled Lance up on stage and they were saying like, "It's been a little too long and we're okay if you want to do it with 4. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, no, they've been cheerleading this effort for years.
A long
now.
time.
Like,
can you imagine that show? Can you imagine?
Oh my God.
Can you even freaking imagine?
Can I tell you what's going to happen? I'm going to bawl like a little baby. I'm going to cry like a little baby.
Same.
Just like I did with New Kids. Same thing. Same emotions are going to come through.
I will. Just like I did with Britney Spears.
There. I will fight tooth and nail
yeah,
for those
so
bar stools.
Oh, I'll
me
be.
too. Me too.
I'll be there.
Yes.
Right.
You hear that?
There. Right there.
My ass is going to be parked on a bar stool. All the bar stools.
Even if there's no bar stool,
Right.
if there's like the, I don't know, whatever experience.
whatever gets me closest to the stage and in their faces.
Yeah.
I'll be there. I will be there. Take my money. Take it.
Mhm.
I don't even want
That-
it anymore.
That is one I would have to strongly advocate. Like, I'm sorry. I know it's going to be a lot of money, but you don't understand. We've been waiting over 20 years for this. Like,
Mhm.
That is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Things like that don't happen all the time. It
No, and
is
who
a special
knows?
occasion.
They may not. They might tour. I mean, we're planning this like it's going to happen
right?
because it's going to.
It's going to.
Because we're putting it out in the
has to.
universe.
It has
But
to.
I mean, who's to say that? I don't know as if they are going to be like New Kids in that they'll keep touring. So it might be a
Right.
once in a lifetime thing.
Might be one and done.
And yeah, so
And I am going to be there for it.
mhm,
Come hell or high water.
that's right.
Maybe it'll be the event that I get to meet you two in person at.
Maybe.
We need this to happen.
I know,
This,
for
we need
real.
this to happen.
For real.
I do need to meet you guys in person. I do. I feel like I do.
Yeah,
I feel like I at least need to buy you a drink.
I had a dream.
We should buy you a drink.
No, we should buy you a drink. Hello.
We should buy you many drinks.
Right, many. But I had a dream the other night that they decided that BlockCon was so successful in Chicago that they were like, we're going to do BlockCon in Boston. We're going to do another
See, that
one.
would be so much easier
And
for me.
if that happens, Becky, you
that's a
have to come.
selfish thing to say, but it would be so much easier for me.
Yes, because you're going to experience Boston anyway, and you got to do the little tour. You got to,
You
where
can
it all
make it a
began.
family vacation.
Yeah,
Bring the family to New England.
that's right.
Come have
Or-
lobsters with us.
Yeah,
What we do is we wait for JC to get this musical of his out on Broadway. And then I come and we all go to the show on Broadway.
perfect.
I would be down for that
I
too.
will be. I am down for that.
That would be a lot of fun. I would
Yes.
love to do that.
Yes.
All right. This is all in the universe.
Yes.
We're
Throwing
manifesting.
it there.
We're
Well-
manifesting.
Like I said, I'm not giving up. I at least now have a contact with Lance's people. So I'm going to keep pushing
We
that
appreciate you.
For
contact. 'cause
real.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, we appreciate you and we appreciate that. And I just want to talk to him about AOL.
I know.
Yeah,
I really want to talk to him about I am Poo-Foo. I really want to talk
Yes.
to him about that.
Well, he already confirmed that was him that emailed
but
me.
I want to talk to him about it.
Right. I want to be like, were you in the chat rooms, Lance? Were you there? Because I feel like you were. Like, I think you were.
I think he was too.
Like,
I think that
was
he dabbled
there.
in a little bit of teen chat.
I think, yeah, I'm sure. We had asked Joey McIntyre about that too. Because remember that? Remember that screen name thing that the person I
Yes.
was talking to?
I
Yeah. I don't know. Could have been him. Who knows? Probably
I
not.
mean, I
It
feel
was
like that
probably
wasn't
some
him.
like 70-year-old man that didn't wear
Probably.
pants,
Right.
talking on the
Oh.
computer.
Talking on the computer to young girls.
Yeah.
And they're
Probably.
like,
Joey McIntyre?
he's like ASL.
And I was like,
And then,
17.
right. 17
Email
FME.
me.
And then he writes back 22 M, Massachusetts.
Yeah. And I was like, Joey McIntyre? Hello.
Right. Like,
Can we hang out?
oh man. Well, Becky, it has been a
Becky,
pleasure having you
yes.
on.
Thank you so much for coming on.
It's been a long time coming.
Thank
Yes.
you for having me on.
Absolutely.
This was so much fun.
This
Yes.
has been the craziest week. Like, if you could be a fly on my wall in my classroom, this has been the craziest week ever. And
Well,
this
we
was
appreciate you
like when
taking
you
the time.
asked me to come on, I was like, yeah, highlight of my week.
oh,
Yeah. Oh, it's the highlight of our week too.
this was so fun.
Yes.
We'll do it again,
Yes.
Absolutely.
especially after we have
Absolutely.
Lance on to
Yes.
recap.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
100% recap.
We're manifesting that we meet you in person
Hmm.
sooner than later,
That's right.
and
That's
we appreciate you very much.
We really do, Becky. Thank you
And
so
it was
much.
so good to actually talk to you because normally I'm listening to you and I'm
Oh,
talking to you, even though you
yeah.
can't hear me. I'm like, yes, or like getting all into what you're saying. I would
Oh,
actually like talk to you.
Well, we love you so much.
Oh,
So
too.
we
thank
appreciate
you.
you. Thank you
Yes.
so much for everything that
Yes.
you
For
do.
everything that you've done, everything. So I guess
I
with
guess
that,
it's
With that
time.
being said,
Time to say bye, bye, bye.
yeah. Hey.
I like
And
that.
we'll be loving
We'll
you
be loving you
forever.
forever and ever.
Bye.
Bye.